Okay, and welcome to CAD Monkey Tutorials. We're giving this a shot. I feel like I hear an echo. Hello, hello. Okay, maybe I'm not just in my head, maybe, perhaps. Let me turn that off and see if there's any difference. I don't know. Anywho, let's continue on. Let's do a rectangle. And we're going to do any size rectangle. We're actually going to change this into a block. We'll name it lumber. And we're actually going to start with a dynamic block. It's going to be very simple. Actually, shift right click. Let me turn off nearest. I used it for my previous video and did not turn it off. That is going to bother me. So let's keep on going. So now that's a block, we can actually double click it and go into the editor. So now my main goal in this is to give it two variable dimensions. So I want to do horizontal. That's the first one. We'll hit enter. And we also want to do a vertical. We'll leave those named. Under here, we're going to go to parameters and enter some user parameters. So let's go with X, obviously for the X direction. And let's do one more for Y. For the Y direction. So with lumber, a 2x4 is not really 2 inches by 4 inches. It's actually ½ inch shorter for the most part. It varies a little bit, but it's 1.5 by 3.5, and so on and so forth. And so if I click here, I can actually enter this variable. The user parameters that we set were X and Y. If we enter X and put minus 0.5, we'll get a value. Currently it's 0.5 because the expressions both say 1. Now if we do the same thing here, we can enter y minus 0.5, and once again things are going to get funky. So in order to fix that, you actually use these tools right here. We can go to constraints, and how about we start with horizontal. Let's make this guy horizontal, and let's make the two perpendicular to each other. There we go, perpendicular. That one and that one. There we go. Now we're looking a little more sane. Just to finish it off, let's do these as parallel as well as these. Let's see if it over constrains. Nope, I think we're good. In addition to that, let's grab these two. I don't see my toolbar. Let's PR enter, see if properties will pop up. There it is. Okay, so the number of grips is these blue arrows, and I don't want those to show up. Basically, we have these values, these expressions that we are going to be able to enter ourselves. So we're going to go ahead and put 0, and those two will disappear. Now, I believe that's it. We can actually do a step further and click the fix on the menu over here and just pick this corner, and that way whenever we enter a value, it actually expands up and to the right in the typical positive directions. So let's see if this worked properly. We'll save changes to lumber, and we'll go here. Yeah, currently it shifted. We were originally at the origin, but that should be fine. So let's go ahead and test it out. I'll show you how to hide the D1 and D2 also. So if we type in 2x4, you can see that it's a 2x4. We'll do dim len and measure both edges, and you can see that it will change along with it. So if we select it again, we can type, oh, that's the ones we're about to hide. So let's do 4x10. So you can see that it grows according to what we enter, and the variables can change. You can put whatever you want in there as long as it's a valid expression. I believe that's it. If I go in here, and then we can go to, where did those go? Let's see, did they disappear? Let's go back to the parameter manager. Bring it back. There it is. Okay, so if we scroll over, usually I have this detached, but in order to get everything on the same screen, so show right here to the very right, we'll set both of those to no. And when we go back, we'll see that the custom, all you see are the two variables that we entered, no longer the dimensions or constraints or anything that we added to it prior. In addition to that, we can actually go a step further and show you a few more things. So if I enter 2 lines, I'm pretty sure this is standard for all architectural / structural drafting. If you do the cross section, or the cross in between the, you know what I mean, the lumber, that's the actual representation of like 2x4s and other wood. So what I'm doing is coincident, and I'm picking the point that I want it to go to and the point that I want to go to it, if that makes any sense. So if I do that and close and save, I did it for all 4 corners, and now the X should actually follow along too. So if I go back to 2x4, you can see that it expands and shrinks accordingly. Now on top of that, the dimensions are currently locked. So if I move this and shift this over here, I just broke it. They won't follow along anymore. So let's go by 10 by 16. Okay, so apparently one corner decided to stick around. So, wait, where's that bar? Draw settings. Possible I took it off. Let's see. Annotation monitor is what I'm looking for. Interesting. That should show up somewhere down here. Well then, I guess I won't be able to show you that, but you can always do it over again. Basically on the newer versions, and especially in AutoCAD 2019, I know for sure, there's a plus sign in the toolbar down here, and if you click it, you can see that when you break the dimensions, there's a little yellow box with an exclamation point in it. And it's basically telling you that you broke it. It's no longer associated with the 2 edges that you chose originally. If you click on the exclamation point, you can actually reassign it to those corners and basically do what we're doing right here, where we do endpoint and endpoint, and then it will reassociate to those corners. And so when you select it and change whatever, it will go along with it. So there you have it. That is a quick 2 variable dynamic block that you can size to whatever shape you want, as long as it's a rectangle. Thank you very much.